Hey there, everybody. It's your girl Barbie J here, and we are talking about Tyler Perry's comedy drama Sistas, Season 6, Episode 7, Ordinary Pain. I gotta tell you, the synopsis for this episode says after catching Zach off guard, Fatima questions the status of their relationship. Yeah, I can see that part. But then the other part says Sabrina devises a strategy to remove Q once and for all. Have no idea what that means. Have no idea. She went to the airport and spoke to him. That is not removing anything. So I don't know what that's all about, but anywho. It starts off with Zach. Oh, wait a minute. And before we get started, if you hear some humming sound, that's because I have the fans blowing in here. It's hot. And the air conditioner is even louder. I got to get a new air conditioner that's quieter. But excuse the humming sound, but I just can't be hot in here. Anyhow, and you know what, while I'm at it, for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel, please take a moment now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell. It'll let you know every time I upload new content to this channel. Then I ask that you hit the like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment, and share. So it starts off with, of course, Fatima seeing Karen kiss Zach on the cheek. Bottom line, everybody thinks that basically that Karen saw Fatima pull up and did that on purpose. Maybe she did. Who knows? She was kind of smug when Fatima walked up there. And, she gets over there, asks could she speak to her. And, yeah, Fatima, you probably should have said, Zach, can I speak to you over here? But usually people go, can you excuse me for a moment? But Karen, with her stank self, is like, this is my salon. This burnt up stuff, yeah, this is my salon. That's just burnt up salon that my man is talking about helping you fix. So you need to check yourself, before you wreck yourself. Anyhow, they go back and forth. And Fatima walks up and Zach's like, hey, babe, what the bleepity bleep? Really? And she's supposed to address you. She's supposed to address you at all with that. And then, what was it? He said, well, we gonna go talk over here. It's kind of hot and I don't want your hair to get messed up. He gonna do some silly mess like that, talking about Fatima's hair. I was like, that was so inappropriate, Zach. And that's when I was just done with the episode and it had just started. I was done at that point. Then he goes over there. She's concerned about his son. And he's like giving attitude, talking about she got an attitude. No, I'm like, no, she's upset. And you should realize she's upset because of what you're doing. And you're not even acknowledging how wrong you are. You're looking over your shoulder. You're trying to be cool. You're trying to play both women and you're disrespecting both women is what you're doing, Zach. That's what you're doing. And then when she's like, just sign the thing so I can get you your emergency hearing, she's more concerned about your son than you are because all you're concerned about is Karen. Let's be real. You were upset about your son in that certain situation. You were talking about snatching him up and taking him and everything. But you're going to take all the money you got and spend it on replacing her salon when you got a child that you need to be fighting for and getting that straight. And you need to have your money straight when you do that. I mean, really, Zach. Where's your brain? Where are you thinking? But anyway, Fatima's mad, snatches the paper, walks away, gives him attitude. He wants to know where the ring is. She's like, F you. Because her silence said F you. I'm sorry. I just added that. And then we go and you see Pam is like, ooh, telling Karen, you kissed Aaron. You kissed Zach and Aaron saw it and he's over there pissed and da-da-da. And Karen trying to like, whatever, with that attitude. So Aaron comes out and he's like, well, I'm going to get out of here because you seem to have what you need. Ugh. And then he walks away. She's like, fine, and then tells Pam that she could go too. And then she goes, Aaron goes over there and he confronts Zach and they go back and forth with the nonsense. And Zach is getting a kick out of this. See, Zach feels like he's one-upping, I think. He feels like he's one-upping Aaron right now for Aaron stealing his woman. That's how I feel it. I just feel like he's getting him back for stealing his woman. And now his ex needs him. And he feels like he's, like I said, the savior now. Saving her. And so it's funny how her and Pam are sitting over there while they go back and forth. And Aaron called him on his mess, saying, "Yeah, you said y'all are through, but it seems like she's still in love with you or whatever." I was like, "Really, Zach? Aaron? Really?" I was like, "What are y'all gonna do? Get into a fight again?" And then Zach talking about he'll have to whoop his ass again. Talking about Aaron, you didn't really beat Aaron that bad. I mean, it was like a tie almost, Zach. You really didn't come off like that, if you ask me. And then you telling him you going to therapy. That's news. When did that come up? When did Zach start going to therapy, y'all? Somebody put that down in the comment section because that's news to me. And then Zach with the, "You a preacher, right? You being a preacher won't stop me from effing you up and asking God for forgiveness. That's how it works, right?" I was like, what is all of this? What is all of this? So anyway, him and Karen, he goes back over to Karen. Of course, they dismiss Pam, and she's like she want to talk to him and yada yada yada. And he's like, "Fine, let me go check the place first." But he touches her again. That touching, I told y'all, it's one of the 5 love languages, physical touch. And Zach is doing a lot of physical touching. So hear me, y'all. Zach is like, I don't know. He could not be in love with her if he wanted to say that, but all of that physical touching is definitely one of those love languages, y'all. There's gifts and whatever, acts of work or something like that. Whatever. I mean, I'm not going to go through them. But I don't know. Something ain't right. I have a feeling they're going to get back together some kind of way. And I just hope Fatima's not sitting there waiting for Zach, because she could do better. If it comes to that, she can do better. And I like how Pam put that together, their names, and she goes, "I see a Zachrin coming. Zachrin. Zach and Karen." Zach is like real clever. And I said, there was a Fatima now. Zach and Fatima. We're going to see what's happening. But Pam is so silly. Then it switches over to the law firm with the attorney and who's it? Calvin, Maurice, and Sabrina. And Sabrina's upset. And Calvin's like, "I can't go." Not Calvin, I'm sorry. Maurice is like, "I can't go back to jail. We can't do this." And the attorney's like, "I told you I'm good at what I do. I'm going to try to do my best. That won't happen. Yada, yada. I got another meeting. Y'all see yourself out. What attorney tells you to see themselves out of their office? No. Can y'all go now? Thank you. Bye-bye. And then Maurice is like, "Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. I know y'all dying to say it. You really want to say it." I was like, no, that's your guilt, baby boy. That's your guilt. And you need to be feeling guilty. And Sabrina started going in on him. I was like, okay, Sabrina, do it. But she kind of held back. But I thought she should have went in a little bit harder on him and said, yes, A, B, C, and D. All your fault. That's what I'm just saying. But then Maurice was talking about he's going to kill Q or have him killed. And she's like, "I can't talk to him when he's like this." And she gets up, Sabrina, and walks out. Calvin's trying to talk, to them, saying, let's not think the worst, let's think positive. And Sabrina's like, "Are you kidding? Did you hear what he said?" And I said, in their position, they have to think the worst, because that's what could possibly happen. You want to think positive, but you have to consider the worst at times. Anyway, it switches over to the airport with a useless scene with Danny and Q, and he coming up there rolling up in a wheelchair when he got shot in his right shoulder. Why is he in a wheelchair is beyond me. Guess he trying to get some sympathy and not have to do any work. Anyway, he rolls himself over to Danny, and Danny calls herself being done with him. Don't want to talk to him. I ain't got nothing to say to him. He started talking about her coming and staying with her again and all of this stuff. And she takes him and pushes the wheelchair like she's doing something. I said, unless you were pushing him down the stairs, there was no need for that, because he could easily stop it. So that was dumb. Anyway, then she gets a call from Sabrina, who's crying, saying that she could get 15 years and that Q is their witness. And Danny is like, what? She can't believe it. She's telling her to calm down, and we're not going to let that happen to you. And yada, yada, yada. Nobody could promise anything or say anything, to be honest, in this situation. So then Danny tells her that Q is there. And Sabrina wants a chance to talk to her, and Danny's, being negative, kind of like telling her, don't get your hopes up. He's not going to do people like that. Don't this. And people, I hate when people do that. Just let me have my hopes and dreams or possibilities or whatever in my mind. Let me keep hope alive, and you stop shooting hope down for me, okay? So I don't know why she said she needed a badge or a pass to get in. It's an airport. She's right there with the rest of the passengers. That made no sense that she needed some kind of ID to just talk to Q. She said something about going in the back, but they didn't go in the back. They were sitting right there with the rest of the passengers. So anyway, Sabrina gets there and she talks to Q and she tries to talk some sense into him. And of course, he really doesn't care. Why are you wasting your time talking to me? The detective told me not to talk to you. Yada, yada, yada. And she's like, why are you doing this to me? I'm sorry that you've been hurt. I don't know who hurt you, but it wasn't me. It wasn't Maurice. You know we didn't do it. Q's like, why are you trying to do this? I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me alone. You did it. You helped her. And she said, you know I didn't do it. You know I didn't do it. And she kept repeating the same thing, over and over. You know how the Tyler Perry lines do. You know me and Maurice didn't do it. And he was like, well, Maurice this. She said, but what did that have to do with me? I had a good job. I worked hard to get to where I was, and you just ruining my life and stuff. And then I think her tears was coming down, and then she finally said, you know what? I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. And I think that's when he got emotional, because she was like, I know this is not you. I don't know who hurt you, but it wasn't us. I know this is not you. You don't know me, So it was all of that. But you saw a tear in rolling down Q's face. And Sabrina just walked away upset. And Danny told him, Q, if my friend goes to jail, you were hurt before, you're going to be hurting again. Believe me. I was like, well, I hope you keep your word and really do something, okay, and not just talk. Then we see, what's her name, Fatima, coming back to the office, and she's running into Tamara, who she finds out that she's gotten married, and she's like, what are you doing? I told you to get him, but not like this. And Tamara's like, yeah, honey, I took him to Vegas, and we got married. We did it. What you mean? What? All of that stuff. And she said, you know what? Fatima's like, I'm done with you. I have nothing to do with it. It's on you. She said, I can't do this. And Fatima just dismissed her and walked away from her, saying she don't want to have nothing else to do with Tamara and this stuff with Hayden. And Tamara's like, okay, because Fatima's like, what are you doing here again? Why are you here? And that's how she found out everything. So then we have a scene with Gary and Hayden talking. Gary saying Tamara looks clean. Asking him, did he sign the annulment papers? And Hayden's like, he want to talk to her first. And Gary said he has somebody digging in deeper to find out more about Tamara. At this point, Tamara comes in his office and sits down with him, and she's calling him husband. And you can see Gary Hayden's uncomfortable with that. And then she insists that she does something really nice for him in his office, which was go down on him and give him a blowjob in his office. And he's trying to let her know that there's windows and anybody could see it. And she goes down there and she insists that she, does this, and she goes down there and give it to him. And then Gary, while she's doing that, Gary comes with the paperwork, because Gary called and said he's going to say he's coming to see him so he could find out some stuff about Andy, what's going on with Andy and Robin, of course. Anyway, so Hayden is asking Gary, to leave, give him a minute. And he's like, why are you twitching around? What's wrong with you? Dude, what's going on? He said, could you just come back and give me a minute or two? That's all I need is a minute. He's like, no, I can't. I got this stuff here. He being so nosy. Gary walks around the desk and catches Tamara down there giving him a blowjob. And he's like, yo, dude, put that away. Put that away. I said, stop, Gary. You just jealous it ain't Andy doing that to you in your office. Let's be real. That's what you're jealous about. First of all, if her head is doing that, you shouldn't be able to see his ding dong. Why are you standing there even talking about, oh, put it away? No, you should have walked your butt back over there. He told you not to come back over there, and you still came over there, which makes no sense whatsoever. Anywho, Gary leaves, and then we see Andy and Fatima, and she could tell, Andy, of course, could always tell when something's wrong with Fatima, and Fatima tells her that Zach was something about seeing Zach kissing Karen, but she said, I know he said she kissed him. And Andy's gonna straight up say, oh no, that can't be. I already know. And I'm like, what? You already know that Karen is going there, and you even question your girl Karen as to why she wants the money from Zach and everything. You know she has an agenda, so why are you trying to act like that? But I do go along with her advice to talk to Zach first. Give him an opportunity to explain. Have the conversation. And that's the only part that I agree with. Then we have a scene with Maurice and Calvin. And Maurice is talking about he got a cousin who could take care of Q. All he has to do is give him $5,000 and he could hurt him up or kill him or whatever and do whatever I tell him. And I'm like, where you getting $5,000 from, Maurice? You don't even have $5,000. So kill that noise, okay? Kill it. Calvin's telling him this makes no sense. He needs to stop it, of course, and all of this. And then he had the nerve to mention that, I work in real estate. And of course, Maurice is like, you ain't got no damn job. You ain't had a job since you moved in here. He's like, oh, shut up. That's how you think I was paying the bills and all of this stuff. I have this job. And he was like, maybe you should get your real estate license and then you could do some real estate too. He said, how am I do real estate from jail? He's going on like that. But y'all know where he stole that line from. You ain't got no job. That's from Martin. When they always kept saying, Tommy, you ain't got no job. Tommy, you ain't got no job. And so Tyler Perry done stole that line for Calvin. You ain't got no job. And honestly, we ain't never seen Calvin go to a job anyway. But he would leave out the house. We just never knew where he was going. Anywho, Calvin tells him to just leave this alone. But of course, Maurice can't do it. And he's telling him he could get life in jail. And Maurice is like, I'm already going to jail. Like, it doesn't matter. So now we have a scene with Pam in a coffee shop, and Aaron comes in there and he makes a phone call to some woman, and it seems to have been that Jennifer person, and he's telling her to meet him there. He said at our spot, our favorite spot, as he called it, I'm sorry. And so then when he hung up from her, Pam walks over to him and lets him know that she's there, and who's that on the phone, and she does her little nosy thing, and he's telling her to mind her business, and she was like, but you over in here, I was minding my business. She's like, you came in here making all these plans to meet somebody else. She called him out on his ish, saying that he's using this other woman. Because he's saying, I'm doing everything I can to show Karen that I love her, and this whole baby thing is a lot to deal with. He said, so why should I stay there if she doesn't want me, So that's why he's calling the other girl. And she was like, so you're using her. She said, because that's what it looks like to me. He's like, no, I'm not. I was like, preacher man, yes, you are. You're using people. Karen's using people. Zach is using people. Tamara's using people. Everybody using people on the show, and everybody need to be having therapy. Let's be real with this right now. So anyway, that's when Aaron was like, what does Zach have? What kind of hold does he have on her? And Pam's like, you tell me. I have no idea and stuff, and then because he said, you know what, maybe I'll call the girl and tell her to meet me somewhere else. And Pam's like, oh no, I want to meet her again and stuff. And Aaron's like, nah. And he gets on the phone and calls the girl and say, let's meet somewhere else. And he walks out and leaves Pam standing there. And then it ends with Fatima and Andy in a conference room. And I guess they're talking to these people who are getting divorced. And a lady named Miss Porter comes in. So funny. She has on the same color as Andy. Their outfits are similar. It's just that Andy's is a pantsuit and this lady's is a dress. So she starts talking about how hard this divorce is going to be, and she starts telling her life story. And it's so funny that her life story matches up to what basically Andy's going through and Fatima. So it was crazy. I can't sit here and give y'all all the details, but she was saying how her husband was married first, and then how he kept saying he was going to divorce the woman, and then he finally did, but they were already together. And then how their relationship started changing. She thought she was good getting a doctor and stuff, and then he kept going back and forth between his ex, and her life story was like Andy's and Fatima's, and I was laughing and then looking at each other, and Andy's like clearing her throat, and Fatima's like and the lady's like, does this sound familiar or something? And Andy's like, oh no, I'm just a little parched. But she was mainly like, it was Andy's story, really, how he giving her all these gifts and flying her places and stuff. And Fatima's kind of smirked a little bit when Andy tried to say she was just parched. But long story short, this lady was telling them, basically giving them some wisdom and talking about the men of the old days, were men, and the ones of these days are like boys. And you got the internet with the internet hoes on it, and she said she feels sorry for today's women, what they got to go through. And she went on with some stuff, and then told them not to end up like her. Make sure the person that you pick is willing to grow with you and love you and be with you. And when she left, Fatima started crying, and Andy's like, oh, no, no, because Andy act like it was nothing. She said, oh, Miss Porter she was something else, wasn't she? It's like it went in one ear and out the other with Andy. She was all over Andy's life story right there, and Andy just took it in stride, was like, oh, whereas Fatima felt it and was touched by it and stuff, and she's like, I can't do this. She said, I can't stay with Zach knowing that he's in love with Karen. And Andy's like, oh, no, 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 don't say that. And she's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Either they are effed up, they so effed up they can't see what we're doing, or we're effed up for even sitting through this stuff. Which is it? That's what Fatima was saying. But it just baffled me that Andy, it seemed like she didn't get anything out of it, or if she did, she kind of tried to brush it off at the end. And I was like, she crazy. But that's how it ended, y'all. And y'all let me know down in the comment section how y'all felt about this episode. Anywho, it's your girl Barbie J saying, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.